Hello guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to be working on the BMW E60 5 Series again today, and we're going to be doing something again on the interior. So we are going to be replacing the steering wheel trim. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is a very common problem on these cars for the steering wheel trim to wear in two specific places, and today I'm going to be replacing the entire trim piece because I want the car to be looking nice and presentable. Now I'll show you exactly what the trim piece looks like. Obviously we have a genuine BMW part. I don't even think there is an aftermarket part for this, so obviously it's new as well, because if you buy a used part it's just going to be the exact same as the part on your car, and this is it right here. So because I have an M Sport model, you kind of have to buy the M Sport trim piece. There is, I think, just a plain piece, or a plain like black and silver, which are slightly cheaper, but obviously I have the M Sport model. I want it to look original, so I've gone with this trim piece. Now I don't think this is cheap, I think it's pretty expensive, but I managed to get it cheaper than what you would expect at the dealership. I managed to get it from Fixed Parts Online, so if you have never ever checked Fixed Parts Online, check them out, and I'm sure you'll be able to get a discount, you know, compared to the dealer. I will leave some links down in the description box below. But without further ado, let's get outside and let's get cracking. Okay, so before we get started, because we are having to disconnect an airbag today, we are going to just disconnect the battery, just the negative terminal. Let's lift it off and just put it to one side. Okay, so before we get started in trying to remove this trim piece, let me just show you what the original one looks like. So as you can see, it's very, very common for it to wear here and here. Now as you can see, there is a few minor scratches on it as well, because this rubberized coating, I guess you could call it, does tend to flake off. You know, if you was to dig your fingernail into it, it does come off fairly easily. So yeah, once I have the new trim piece on, I need to be very, very careful I do not damage it. But yeah, I really don't know why it wears in these places here. I guess if somebody holds the steering wheel like this and they would just rub their finger next to it, I don't know. I tend to hold the steering wheel like this, so I don't even come in contact with this. But yeah, I guess that's, you know, I guess it is what it is really. But yeah, to remove this trim piece, we are going to have to remove the airbag, and to remove the airbag we need to shove a screwdriver into this hole at the back. Probably not going to be able to see it, but it is this hole here. You need to push a screwdriver up there and we can release the clips that hold the airbag in place. There we are. As you can see, airbag has popped off. We just need to disconnect it now. Maybe just as well to just disconnect it from the steering column itself. And there we are. It's the airbag removed. And if it wasn't clear enough how to remove the airbag itself, I do apologise, but I will show you again now. Obviously you'll be able to see a bit better. So as you push the screwdriver through the opening on the back, you should be able to see it come through there. And if you kind of have to push it towards you, not straight up, not back, but kind of towards you, and you are kind of releasing these springs here. And as you can see, there is 4 springs where the airbag attaches onto. So as you push up, you're basically pushing the springs in, and then the airbag should pop off. Okay, so now if we want to remove the bottom trim piece itself, we need to remove these 2 torque screws here. I think we need to remove these top trim pieces first, then we can gain access to this piece. But I thought I may as well actually just remove the entire steering wheel itself. It's only held in by 1 bolt. Now I'm guessing the steering wheel in this car has never ever been removed, so when I do so, it's going to give me a good opportunity just to get behind it, give everything a good clean up, give the steering wheel a good clean. I'll probably, you know, give it a clean with some leather conditioner as well. And yeah, it's going to just mean that we do a better job. And then obviously once we have gave everything a good clean up, I will then install the new piece and then install it back onto the car. Okay then, so that is the bolt removed. If you're wondering what size it is a 15mm. It shouldn't be too tight. I think these have to be torqued to around 60 Newton meters. Now we'll torque it back up with a torque wrench, but yeah, the steering wheel should now just pull off. I may have a couple of connectors to disconnect, which yes we do, where it goes onto the SZL, so we will disconnect them first actually. Okay, so managed to get the electrical connectors disconnected. Just use a small pick tool, and now the steering wheel itself can be removed. There we are. So yeah, this is exactly what I mean. Look at all this dirt and dust that's just built up. You can't actually access this once the steering wheel is in place. So I'm going to give all of this a good clean up, then we will focus on the wheel itself. Okay, so quick clean up, and as you can see, it's looking much better on here now. And I've actually just noticed that the indicator stalk, if you take a look on top, the symbols are actually wearing off. I mean, it's not a big issue, you know, it's nothing major, but I actually have a replacement wiper stalk, and as you can see, it's in much better condition. So I am just going to swap this over. I'm not going to show you me doing this. It's literally just a case of removing this trim piece here and then a couple of screws and then swapping it over. So yeah, let's get that done. So quickly then, as you can see, the new indicator stalk is in place. It literally just pushes in, and then like I said, you have these two screws here, which I believe are like T10 or T15. Very, very small screws, don't need to be done tight at all. But yeah, we can go ahead and reinstall this trim piece, and it should just push into place. And there we are, that's that little job done. Okay then, so it's now time to start paying some attention to the steering wheel itself. So like I said, I'm going to remove these two trim pieces first. The upper trim pieces, just held in by two T20 screws. Okay, so I made a mistake. These two trim pieces do not remove once you remove those screws. The entire trim piece as a collective, so the three trim pieces, that all removes together once you remove those two screws. It's just held in by, I guess, plastic dowels that are on this bottom trim piece, so you should be able to lift the whole lot up. Just be careful, of course, you don't want to break this if you don't need to. And there will be some electrical connectors as well, so don't just pull it straight up. And once you've disconnected the electrical connectors, as you can see, it's all in one piece. Now we do have to separate this, so we have, is it 4 screws? One there, one there, one there, and one there. And I think we actually have replacement screws for this as well, which is nice. Yeah, I was right. So we have the new trim piece, and we also have 4 new screws as well, which obviously I'm going to be using. Again, these are T20 screws. And this should just pull off. There we are. Once you have all of these screws removed, that side should pull off as well. Obviously we need to keep these two pieces, but this is the part that is getting replaced. Okay, so before we begin reinstallation of all these parts, I'm going to give everything a good thorough clean up. I'm going to probably use some leather cleaner and conditioner on the wheel itself. It should come up quite nice, because believe it or not, this is the original steering wheel, but it is actually in very, very good condition. I'll give the airbag a clean up as well, and these trim pieces of course, and then we will, yeah, like I said, start putting everything back together. Okay then, so I've gave everything a good clean down. steering wheel is looking quite literally brand new now. I gave it a clean with this leather cleaner and conditioner and it's came up very well. It's so much softer as well and just a nicer wheel to touch. Gave the airbag a clean up. It did have a ring of dust around the outside. Gave all that a good clean. And yeah, the two small side trim pieces, and obviously we have the new bottom trim piece, the thing that we're actually wanting to replace today. So yeah, let's get all this installed back on the wheel and then let's get the wheel installed back on the car. Guys, how good does this steering wheel now look? It virtually looks brand new. Obviously the airbag is not fully clipped and I need to do that once the wheel is back in the car, but how good does this look now? Now let's just take a minute to appreciate how good this steering wheel now looks. It's honestly made a huge difference. Obviously the only piece that we have actually replaced is this bottom trim piece, but you know, the fact that we've gave everything a good clean up, we've treated the leather, it really just made a huge difference, and honestly it looks like a brand new steering wheel now. Okay then, so there we go, that's the steering wheel trim replaced on the BMW 5 Series, and I think you would agree it has made a huge difference. I'd recommend doing this if you have the same issue on your car. Yes, it is a bit expensive for what it is, you know, for the small trim piece, but it does make a major difference. It makes your interior look a whole lot cleaner and a lot more presentable. So yeah, it's definitely worth doing. I want to thank all of you guys for watching. Hopefully this video has been somewhat helpful. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Please give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and I will see you all in that next one. Peace.